Hi, everyone. First of all, if you're new to my series of reviews, I would just clarify that I've already watched this series multiple times, so there's a huge tendency of me writing things that are from the other episodes. Also, just a disclaimer, I am not a movie major or critique or something. I am just a fan of this show and I just want to share my thoughts about it. And I just want to express all my thoughts because I really can't move on with this show. Good thing I have this YouTube account where I can just post my thoughts about this series, and I have my internet best friend Ron who's really like me. You know, both of us just can't move on from this. I am so happy that I am not alone. A little recap on the episode 3 ending, which I believe is the best episode ending of any series I've watched. Ever. At first, it didn't really remind me of Call Me By Your Name, but after talking to my friends and a couple of rewatch, I must agree, that ending is kinda similar to CMBY's ending with Elio staring blankly to the fireplace then fade to black. That entirety of the scene that leads us to the ending really is strong. I couldn't even think of any word to really describe it. From the script talking about two male protagonists, to the production setting, of course, the best musical scoring, the acting, the editing and color grading, the execution, the story it tells, the sexual escalation it manifests, the confusion it brings, not out Bangkok, you are insane. Back to episode 4. Of course, my eyes are already watery just by hearing their intro. That song Skyline has this magic to make me feel sad and soft whenever I hear it. This song is very powerful, in a way, that it automatically throws you all your nostalgic adolescent memories, your first heartbreak, your regrets and disappointments. The only OST that made me feel and cry this way are the S of Sets S apostrophe and reply 1988. I don't know. Maybe there are other beautiful songs too, but when I heard these songs, there's just something. The next morning, Terry acted like nothing happened last night, most probably because he doesn't want things to become awkward, so he chose to forget everything. As usual, his go-to lines were those sentences asking O to study. But his efforts to hide his feelings now were a little extra. He even collected the past exams for O to take for them to be busy. The busier, the lesser the time and chance for them to talk about what happened last night. But if Ted thought that he succeeded on not being reminded of what happened last night, O sniffs his nose and Terry automatically scratched his back. You can't go back now, Ted. And that lovely music started playing. Now, the vibe is what makes me feel loved. Just kidding. Before something more intense happened, Hoon came back from his trip to Japan and he really has someone in his hide, hasn't he? Remember when he asked her to clean the house for him? The next scene shows the Sui's two sons with their own partners. Hoon with Nezumi and Tel with Oal enjoying their infamous Hoki and Me. Even though this scene is about Hoon introducing his girlfriend to their mom, our focus is still on Tel. I bet he's more pressured than ever. He was consistently losing against Hoon on their mom's eyes. Now, Hoon is becoming more perfect for having a very nice girlfriend in Nezumi. As Sui said, Hoon never disappointed her. Ted must be so confused now. He likes So, but he knows it will disappoint his mom, and that's the least he would want to do ever since. Sui even told Hoon to hurry because she wants grandchildren already, but not out. Bangkok is always on the top of their game, giving us shots focusing on how Sui's words affect Ted. How could Ted have biological children with O? Ted wants nothing but to make his mom proud. This is making me sad. These close-up shots of Ted full of disappointment while Sui, in complimenting Hoon non-stop for having a girlfriend, tells 1,000 stories. And they are all sad. And when we all thought that Ted's nightmares while having this meal is through, Sui asked him to bring his girlfriend when he has one. And we're not done yet. Hoon said he already has one, Ted, and all of these happened in front of O. If this doesn't make you crazy, I don't know what will. O, who was asked by Sui to update her when TEH and Terran becomes official couple. How sad is this meal? Moments later, Nezumi is now talking about the things he likes about Hoon, and if I may, I honestly think that this is also the way how O sees Ted. It is like a confirmation of feelings from other perspective. What a script you have there. I told Sunset about you. Just beautiful. A while ago, Hoon also said that they brought Terran once to their house and this is why O was hurt. Really? But little did we know, aside the fact that Ted brought Terran to his home before, what really hurt him is that he did it without telling him. O thought that things between him and O were getting clearer and that they don't have any secrets with each other. This was only revealed when Ted sent him to the pier. The jealousy stinks. Ted, on the other hand, keeps on explaining things. Surely, he didn't want O to get mad. But O knows his worth. He answered Ted with the question, why can't he be mad? Then O proceeded to asking Ted on how are things between him and Terran. And by Ted's answer, we now know why O shouldn't be mad, because he should be sad. I mean, Ted saying that things between him and Terran are pretty much the same. Both Ted and O were pretty damaged in the beginning of the episode. And when we say damaged, I guess we can all relate to that. Who won't be damaged with their scoring? You can be really happy and be broken instantly just by hearing its melody. The episode continues with O lying on the floor with his phone, definitely waiting for Tess replies. On the other hand, we have Tae being jealous to his friends, having girlfriends, not having a problem on how society will see them. Another important scene is what we'll be talking about next. Though as I rewatch the series more and more, the more I realize that every scene is as important as those scenes I already noticed at first watch. But what I am talking here is when Tae is with Tiernan in front of her house for her drawing practice. The only difference of the day's practice from the other days is that the two of them are alone. Tae requested her friends that she wanted to draw alone that time so Tae won't be uncomfortable. But we all know what she did. She planned this because she keeps on thinking about Tae after they kissed the last time Tae went with her for her drawing practice. She's prepared as in PRED. She even wore the bra that Tae saw on episode 2 with purple hibiscus. And when I say prepared, I also mean that she draws that hibiscus and asked Tae to color it for her thinking it would remind him his bra and color it purple. But we know what happened next. Tae even feel her drawing before picking a color. And he picked the color red to color the hibiscus that would make it look like the man would would when they're on their trip. It really is always in his mind. He can't even take off his eyes to his phone knowing that he's not answering all messages yet. The disappointed Turn freaked out. She realized that what she's doing is not something that she usually does. She then wore her jacket to cover her thing shirt and told the all of her she's feeling for test treatment to her changed a lot. And I also think that it is safe for us to say that she's jealous though. But her jealousy is mixed with confusion. Should she be jealous to O's Tess friend or his Tess lover? Tess somehow managed to be honest by saying he doesn't even know what's going on with him. But that's still vague. Tae then asked him to go home almost the exact moment when he received a message from O saying that he's on his way to Tess' house. Tae, as confused as he is, didn't really know what to do, but in the end, he really left Turn as she wishes and went to see O. We then saw two hands while hearing voices of two male, studying. They are now studying at a new place. Because of Tess' excuses we know that are lies. But their memorizing is also a foreshadowing. This series just keeps on giving us full circles. They're memorizing this Chinese phrase that means reverse help or to be more of a hindrance than a help. O knows his worth. He knows what he wants. Unlike Tae, he already figured himself so I really stand him when told Tae things frankly. It takes so much courage and bravery to be this open. I love it. After asking Tae to tell him frankly, he even asked him to reply to his messages and get his act straight and he knows that he doesn't deserve any of those. And so he left. One day on their Chinese tutorial school after their exam, the and O are not okay still. O even left the whole group asking what's wrong between him and Tae again. Just look on how concerned this is. We all deserve this kind of man. When the rest of the group left, Tae peeked at O's scores again, and it's low. I think this is what he starts thinking of doing what he'll be doing later on. Their friends are still wondering why the two of them keeps on fighting and leaving them clueless. Kai came up with the thought of the two of them really hitting on each other as Tae joked about on episode 2 to test Beth's feelings for O. Even though it is as clear as sky for us, the audience, Beth keeps on worrying about things. Should he really pursue O? Is O still available? Does he have a chance? Bess, let me love you instead. As O was going home, he then saw Tae following him, so he started running away. But Tae is fast that he reached O in the time and asked O why is his score low. He even had a very good score on episode 3. And we all know how big of a deal his peaking for is. But they decided not to answer and offered to help O instead. I don't know if being insensitive is the right term but I'll settle to that. Factors like his identity crisis maybe is the one to blame, but O is totally right when he says this. You've never understood me. I'm here to honestly think that Tae really understands O, but he's redirecting his attention to O's academic performance and shot to study with him at an cert. Tae bought a book and put all his time and effort to create something that would help us study easier, a Chinese idiom tutorial guide. While the rest of his friends are studying, he on the other hand is so focused on helping O. And can we all appreciate how creative Tae is? And can we all appreciate how this mess book had its first appearance without hitting us that it would make us cry later? And here goes Sui again. Is she a psychic or something? Almost all of her lines hits differently when you started to rewatch. Most of the foreshadowing in the series is through her. She's saying don't be so careless gives me goosebumps. Tae, don't be so careless. Just don't make any big decisions out of nowhere. But what she said next made my heart ache. She wants to borrow Tess art materials because she wants to decorate their restaurant, not to celebrate Hoon, but Tess University admission. She's decorating the restaurant and it will be giving away food for Tess. It's for the finale. And knowing what happened next makes me really sad. Tech posted his self-made tutorial guide for O on his Instagram story, but he accidentally deleted it without O seeing it first. I think that's what made him travel to O's place to hand it to him. As O was browsing the book, Tech is just outside his place not knowing what he should do. May I also say how insane not O is? The details of this series is crazy. O saw this idiom that means easy pickings or to get something without effort, that we all thought is just a random idiom that will really add some depth to the series, but we're wrong. Ted finally peeked through the door and saw O. O saw him and started to walk going to the and this is the beginning of something that I won't forget ever. O was teasing Ted. He's making him follow him anywhere he go. Ted then started to sniff and kiss O's nape, but O continues to do his thing, making Ted follow him. The deafening silence during the scene is just crazy. The musical scoring, be it with or without music, has never been this crazy. How do you all come up with this? Not out. This is purely an art. Ted tried to kiss O again and yes. O still walked away and went under the stairs. Ted followed him and when he got there, O started to melt in him and hug him. And that freaking music started playing. Now, why are you playing with my emotions? The way they hugged each other, leaned on each other's shoulders, looked at each other's faces, caressed each other's back. Just, I don't know. I can't think of any adjective. And this beautiful scene ended with a transitional one with O asking Ted to swing, and we all not ready for this. First, I watched their episode 5 documentary, so the highest form I could give is what I have for them. I am not really good at expressing my reviews and all, but I still want to do this. Let's appreciate this beautiful shot that they took from a different spot than the actual sea where they dived. What they said about starfish floating is a great metaphor for their personalities. I love how it's written and how the actors executed it as real as it is. Just watch this scene before they dived and see for yourself how their lines represent them. After that, you'll get to understand the both of them more. And so they dived. What a shot we have here. Props to everyone who made this scene possible. Watch the Itsay documentary episode 5. Also, props to Pages, he's scared of corals, but it doesn't manifest here. The look on their face is such a happy sight. Imagine a place where you can be yourself without anyone looking. You can be free, you won't get judged by the things you're hesitating to do. And at the top of all that, you are with the person you love. And the kiss, magical. And did not just make the lips touched, it wasn't a peck, they really kissed underwater. This is very artistic, magical, intimate, sensual, everything. Perfect place, perfect representation, perfect scoring, perfect talents in the nature is on their side. We can see saliva, bubbles when it gasped for air, hand touching other's body, I don't know what to say anymore. I bet your favorite BL has never done a scene as beautiful as this. Conclusion, I told Sunset about you was incomparable. It is an art, a masterpiece. It has its own league. When they went up after that magical scene, we can really sense how happy they are. Oh, even started to fix Tess' clothes. Isn't this something that lovers do? I am screaming. Then Ted melted in O's presence once again. This is breathtaking. I don't even know what to expect or what will happen next when I first watched this. They started to tease and play with each other's faces. This is so cute but it is making me cry. How I wish that every couple in the world is as happy as Terry and O seem in this scene. But we have to remember that O knows what he wants. When he asked Ted for some clarity, Ted gave him an answer that immediately broke us after all these beautiful scenes. Friends do not do what you both did underwater, Ted. Ted was as sorry as he should be. But I do not hate him, he's not ready yet. Why should we force him? The only thing I am concerned is that I think it could have been a lot better for him to really understand himself, or at least be honest to what he's feeling, because I seriously think that he knows it, he's just afraid. PP's acting here is crazy. He's begging for tea. The way he cries is so real that you can't see him acting. It's as natural as it is, it's not polished, no extra drama, just pure talent. And this would the gate O. And O answered something that pulverized already broken hearts. And now, it's Bilkin's turn to get his ticket to all the Best Actor nomination awards existing. Just give it to him. What I also love about this series is that Ted is very open to him regardless how hard it is FPR him growing up to be continuously compared and lose to Hoon. Also the Hoon is the father figure in their family for their dad is not present in any of the scenes. It must really be nice to have someone who will be there for you when you just needed a cry. Hoon didn't ask a thing, he just picked Ted up and stayed with him. Hoon is really someone who should stand. Also, he's hot. We also saw O crying to his parents and asking if they are proud of him. There must be a number of reasons why he asked such a question. It can be about his academic performance or him being gay. And I just love that both his parents are not the usual toxic parents we see in movies. This is really progressive. I also believe that the next scene is one of the highlights of this episode. Their original plan for the scene is that O would be walking on Padang Street and he'll suck girls, and that would make him realize what he really wants to become, or at least to say that this is how I remember it. When he went home, he was supposed to wear red lipstick, but none of this happened due to some circumstance. So they improvised the script to this very powerful one. O saw this red bra in the cabinet and started to fit it to himself while looking at the mirror. He even took several photos and posted one of them in his Instagram. Moments later, he deleted it and just cried the hell out of him. This scene is very powerful. He now knows himself and he's just trying to express it. Why did he have to suffer when he's not even hurting anybody? He's a beautiful soul who's in so much pain just because he wants to be himself. How sad is that? But little did he know that Kai already saved himself a copy and sent it to the one who is still confused, is trying his best to discover more about him. He even tried to play himself while looking at Yajian. But I don't know. He started to burst into tears again. It must be really hard for him. Imagine having a conflict with the one you love, but also having inner conflicts with yourself. It must be draining. Really. As Tel wants to confirm things or conflicts that he faces, he went to turn and test himself. Personally, I don't like this idea, but I guess this is what he needed to figure things out. One turn gave him what he wants. It's when he realized that everything really has changed. He's automatically sorry, because I'm sure he never really wanted to hurt Tiern, but that's how things really would go. All of them will be hurt. He just hugged her and started to cry. Bilkin is a tear factory. He must have lots of water in him, more than most of us have. Crying for almost all of his scenes, and do it as realistic as possible just to give justice to his character. Bilkin is my man. O and Tay are both not attending their classes anymore. Bess is worried sick to O. One day, O received another review materials that got him excited, thinking it is from the again, but he's wrong. This pure lover boy Bess came to see him to ask him personally about his state. This is when O told Bess that he wouldn't take the exam anymore and that he'll work in the resort instead. Bess tried to convince him to go back and to be stronger, but O just started to cry and question things. Bess just hugged him, no unsolicited advice given, but then offered help. I stand. But I didn't think that help he offered would be going to tear on his confirmation day. I don't know what to feel anymore. Yes. Bess and the rest of the gang went to see Ted before he goes to Bangkok and told him everything about O's plans and condition. I have so many reasons in my mind why Ted decided to do what he'll do, but I really think that this is the most bearing. During his plane ride, Ted tried to reach O because he's really worried after hearing things from Bess, but O wouldn't answer. He checked O's Instagram and see their promise, and this is when I really started to be anxious and worried about Ted. He'd really do anything to fulfill this promise. Ted arrived in his dream university, but I can't see that he's happy. And his destiny is playing with their fate. 5 minutes before the deadline of their confirmation, there is still one student who wasn't in the venue. This sparked hope on Ted because he knows that O is the first one on their waiting list. But destiny is just teasing him. The 10th student arrived. I hate it. And yes, Ted relinquished his spot for this big shot on his dream for O. O immediately received the call from the university and called his mom and friends to spread the news. But Maud is so quick-witted, he immediately asked to relinquished. O stared at his calendar and saw the date. It's the one that Ted designed and color picking, that the both of them will celebrate that day as their happiest. But no. They're doomed. I also saw a tweet from Reveal explaining this fish tags. Honestly, I am not really familiar with this, but according to him, these are tags for beta fishes. It was also shown on the episode 3. Beta fishes need to be separated from each other, or they will only be hurting each other when put on the same tank, so they'll need 2 different tanks in order for the both of them to strive. And this will be the metaphor foreshadowing for the series ending. That is purely genius. We'll call Tran to help him confirm his intuition, so we'll be seeing Tern on the next scenes. This is really sad. The day that Ted has been working and waiting for since he was a child finally arrived. They are now having free food on the restaurant that is not actually intended for Hoon, that is for him. So he welcomed Ted with so much pride, the people started clapping for him getting admitted at the university in his dreams. But he relinquished his spot for O. How is he going to tell it to his mom? As I said, Tan is also at the restaurant and messaged her to confirm all their guesses. Then Sui even boasted her 2 sons having their girlfriends. Tanya was so quick on denying the claim. I just couldn't handle anything and went upstairs. Tam followed him, throwing with accusations, or I don't know what to call them. Their conversation continued to heat up. They tackled things fast that I've always lost count whenever I rewatch. These actors are so excellent on playing their roles. That's what I want to say. This episode is bloody. I'll just put screenshots, I don't want to think anymore. Before leaving, Tam told her that he should not be sorry to turn for how he made her feel, but she should be sorry for himself, for hurting himself, and, of course, to his mom. We all know how a mother would feel or react when something like this happened to her son. So he came to me and said sorry, thinking that she pressured Tiern, but I told her the truth, which she deserves to know, that Ter relinquished his slot for O and that he'll take the normal admission exam. So he reacted the way I think most moms did. She panicked and said things that made me cry harder. But when she started to mention all the sacrifices that Chen made just to gain the spot he has just given up for O is what makes my heart break the most. Tech performed Yangji in the most perfect way possible. It includes all the discipline he mastered just to learn performing arts. He saved all his money that Han gave him. He took extra Chinese classes. He always come home late at night to prepare himself. He didn't eat properly, all the things that resulted in him being sickly. And now he has to take more medicine as compared to the food he ate again more. I could continue, but you know all of these. But when I thought that I reached the peak of me being heard by the series with Sui's lines, I was wrong again. With all the times he has with O, it is just acceptable for him to assess that given O's condition that time, he would never make it, and he thought that giving a slot to O is the only option left for him. I can't continue with this scene. Here are the screenshots of the following scenes that continuously broke my heart. After seeing Sui and Hun's supposed personal surprise, he made an Instagram story, which O answered immediately. Ter answered, same goes with O. We also saw O and Philip's conversation and Tess reply to O's latest story. And O answered with a custom Chinese idiom book that Che made for him. And Bilkin's highlight scene as an actor is what I saw next. He deserves the world. I won't write anything on the next photos. I can't give justice to how beautiful, understatement, that scene is. Some said that there's a sentence being formed with these cut pages of the book, but I can't understand Chinese characters, so how can I confirm? I had lots in my mind, but I'll just leave it here. This is literally me during episode 4's ending. I told Sunset about you, what a show.